And Bluesky isn't the only company leaning into AI to help build custom feeds, it seems. Amid a slate of recent product releases, X this week announced the launch of Grok-powered custom timelines, which let you dive into one of over 75 specific topics through curated feeds that can be pinned to your home tab. The company touted the feature as one of the biggest changes to the app to date, and saying it uses Grok's AI to not only build these custom timelines, but also personalize them for individual users. And Elon Musk said Wednesday that millions of Tesla owners will need hardware upgrades to run a future version of its full self-driving software that doesn't require human supervision. After he and Tesla spent years promising that wouldn't be the case, the admission could open the company up to legal challenges from customers who bought Teslas on the belief that the cars were just one software update away from being able to drive themselves. And at Google Cloud Next this week, the tech giant announced a bevy of new updates to Workspace, its subscription-based productivity suite aimed at professionals. As you might expect, the updates are heavy on AI, integrating new automation tools into various workflows, everything from drafting emails to organizing Google Sheets. Overall, the changes are clearly designed to give office workers a leg up in their pursuit of less busy work. Here's some of what is new. Ryan Roslansky stepped down as LinkedIn's CEO on Wednesday after 6 years running the world's largest professional network. Dan Shapiro, the company's COO, takes over immediately. Roslansky's tenure deserves attention. And he joined LinkedIn in 2009. He was one of Jeff Weiner's first hires and spent more than a decade working through nearly every corner of the business before taking the top job in June 2020 and at the height of pandemic-era labor market chaos. Microsoft acquired LinkedIn in 2016. And Tesla saw an uptick in revenue and profit year over year, figures buoyed by an increase in automotive revenue and other services, including subscriptions to its full self-driving advanced driver assistance system, which reached 1.28 million. Tesla shares rose 4% in after-hours trading, following the release of its first quarter earnings report, driven by its free cash flow and increases in revenue and profit on a year-over-year basis. And earlier this month, NASA's Artemis II mission sent 4 astronauts to orbit the moon and used new laser communication systems to beam dramatic images back to Earth. One of the receivers, though, wasn't hosted by the US Space Agency. A low-cost terminal built by the companies Observable Space and Quantum Opus and operated by the Australian National University pulled down data broadcast from a spacecraft at the moon at a rate of 260 megabits per second.
That. Google Cloud on Wednesday announced that its 8th generation of custom-built AI chips, or tensor processing units, TPUs, will be split in 2. One chip, named the TPU-8T, will be geared for model training, and another, the TPU-8I, is aimed at inference. Inference is the ongoing usage of models, aka what happens after users submit prompts.
And some of the most consequential companies in tech history didn't launch with a splashy fundraising announcement. They started with a pitch. Dropbox demoed to a room of skeptics, and Cloudflare took the stage before most people understood what edge networking meant. Discord was a scrappy game developer called Hammer and Chisel. Mint, Trello, Forethought, N26. All of them passed through the same crucible. And TechCrunch startup Battlefield. That's not a coincidence. Battlefield isn't just a competition. It's a launch pad, and the numbers back it up. More than 1,700 companies have competed on the Battlefield stage together, and they've raised $32 billion in total funding and generated over 250 exits, including acquisitions by Microsoft, Google, Yahoo, Salesforce, Twitter, Uber, and Amazon. And the startup Battlefield network runs so deep that alumni have even acquired each other. Dropbox acquired fellow startup Battlefield alum DocSend in 2021. For thousands of founders, and it's become a defining milestone, not just a pitch competition, but the moment the world started paying attention. And Apple released a software update on Wednesday for iPhones and iPads, fixing a bug that allowed law enforcement to extract messages that had been deleted or disappeared automatically from messaging apps. This was because notifications that displayed the message's content were also cached on the device for up to a month. In a security notice on its website, Apple said that the bug meant notifications marked for deletion could be unexpectedly retained on the device. And the French government agency that handles the issuing and management of citizens' identity documents, including national IDs, passports, and immigration documents, confirmed Wednesday that it experienced a data breach. In an announcement, and the Agence Nationale des Titres Sécurisés said the data stolen in the breach could include full names, dates and places of birth, mailing and email addresses, and phone numbers on an undisclosed number of citizens. And Ant said the investigation to determine how the breach happened and its impact is ongoing, and people whose data was affected are being notified. And until a few hours before SpaceX announced its deal, giving it the option to acquire Cursor, the maker of AI-powered coding software, for $60 billion, Cursor was on track to close a $2 billion funding round later this week. And, according to a person familiar with the matter, the round would have valued the company at $50 billion. SpaceX said it would either buy the company at some point later this year or pay $10 billion to Cursor to collaborate on AI development. And Cursor was apparently running a parallel process negotiating a potential acquisition by SpaceX while simultaneously finalizing a private funding round with investors that include Andreessen Horowitz, Thrive, Nvidia, and Battery Ventures, and details of which were first reported by TechCrunch last week.
That Iran's parliament speaker and ex-brigadier general of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, IRGC, Mohammad Bagher Ghalibaf, on Wednesday issued a strongly worded statement that any potential ceasefire will be possible if the US lifts its maritime blockade at Hormuz and all the Zionist warmongering across all fronts ceases to exist. That, in a post on X, formerly Twitter, Ghalibaf said a complete ceasefire would only be meaningful if it is not violated by continued restrictions on maritime trade and the hostage-taking of the world's economy.
And the Pakistan Medical and Dental Council, PMDC, moved forward with its probe into 3 major cases, including the tragic suicides of 2 medical students and an operating theatre OT video scandal, and by holding preliminary hearings and referring all matters to its disciplinary committee for final decisions. According to a PMDC statement, and the preliminary hearings were conducted to ensure a fair and informed assessment before initiating formal disciplinary proceedings. Relevant stakeholders, including representatives from the institutions involved, and were invited to present their accounts and help establish a clear factual record. And a global surge in large-scale battery projects is set to reshape power systems in 2026, with installations planned across regions including Texas, Inner Mongolia and New South Wales. Falling costs, rising electricity demand and geopolitical tensions are driving rapid growth, positioning battery storage as a key part of the future energy mix.
That the Punjab government has included several villages in Rawalpindi division in the Model Village project to improve basic infrastructure in rural areas. Villages in Kala Saidan, Guja Khan, Kahuta and surrounding areas will receive upgrade facilities, including clean drinking water, street lighting, paved roads, drainage systems, improved children's parks and wastewater treatment infrastructure.
And Karachi. Interpol has issued a red notice for a fugitive Liari gangster, Wasiullah Lakho, who is reportedly hiding abroad and wanted by Karachi Police South Deputy Inspector General Syed Asad Raza told Dawn on Wednesday. A red notice is a request to law enforcement agencies by Interpol to locate and provisionally arrest a person pending extradition, surrender, or similar legal action. And Iran's Foreign Ministry spokesman Esmail Barkaei said on Wednesday that the Islamic Republic appreciated Pakistan's efforts to end the Middle East war, without commenting on a ceasefire extension announced by the United States. He expressed these views while answering reporters' questions, a statement by Iran's foreign ministry said, adding that Barkaei was asked about Pakistan's request to extend a ceasefire agreed between Tehran and Washington on April 8. And Netherlands-based cosmetics giant Rituals has confirmed a data breach affecting customers' personal information after hackers stole reams of data from its membership database. The company disclosed the breach on Wednesday, according to an email sent to customers that TechCrunch has viewed and verified.
That Apple's standard iPhone 18 is again rumored to miss the company's usual September launch schedule this year, according to a new leak from China. The report claims the device could instead launch next spring alongside the iPhone 18e. If accurate, Apple's September event would focus on the iPhone 18 Pro, iPhone 18 Pro Max, and a foldable model that has also been referred to as the iPhone Fold or iPhone Ultra. That Redmi has introduced the K-Pad 2 tablet alongside the K90 Max smartphone. Like the earlier model, the new device follows a compact tablet design while focusing on high-end performance. The Redmi K-Pad 2 features an 8.8-inch LCD with a resolution of 3008 by 1880 pixels.
And the Directorate General of Customs Valuation, Karachi, has issued revised customs values for the import of 62 brands of old and used mobile phones imported in commercial quantities without packing or accessories. The updated valuation applies to multiple models from major brands including Apple, Sharp, Samsung, Google Pixel and OnePlus.
That FIFA World Cup 2026 is approaching with only 50 days left until the final kickoff. With football's biggest showdown going to kickoff, the association has reopened ticket sales for all 104 matches. That Labyrinth broke away from Euphoria ahead of season 3 after his music had become a trademark of the show, and he finally revealed what reasons caused him to take the big measure and call the showrunners out on Instagram. The 37-year-old British singer, whose real name is Timothy Lee Mackenzie, launched a scathing attack against the show recently and announced his departure.
And the British monarch has received surprise honour for his lifelong commitment to the environment on Earth Day, days before his highly anticipated visit to the US. King Charles III has been rewarded a Green-Blue Peter badge for his decades-long dedication to environmental conservation and sustainability efforts. And Victoria Beckham opened up about how she and husband David Beckham lean on each other as they face challenges in the public eye. During an April 21 appearance on Today with Jenna and Chanel, the fashion designer reflected on the couple's resilience after a year marked by headlines about their strained relationship with eldest son Brooklyn Beckham. And Democratic Party Senate hopeful from Maine Graham Plattner has floated the idea to impeach sitting Supreme Court judges and the President of the United States, US Donald Trump, in an interview with NBC News. And Plattner has urged the Democratic Party to take a more aggressive approach against Trump and outlined his plan to remove the 2 conservative judges from the Supreme Court, impeach Trump and shut down the White House, and use subpoena against every high-profile person currently working for the government. And OpenAI has partnered with Infosys to integrate its artificial intelligence tools, including coding assistant Codex, into the Indian IT giant's Topaz AI platform. Infosys said the integration will be used to help its clients modernize software development, automate workflows, and deploy AI systems at scale, initially focusing software engineering, legacy modernization, and DevOps. And ARK Invest Venture Fund has made its first ever lead investment in an early stage startup called Lucra, firm founder Cathie Woods told TechCrunch. We feel pretty excited about it, Woods, pictured above, said in the recent interview regarding the investment in the startup.
That. SWE Northern Gas Pipelines Limited, PSX SNGP, has issued an official clarification after the Lahore High Court delivered a favourable ruling in a long-running cost equalisation adjustment, CEA tax case, that, assuring investors that the verdict carries no financial consequences for the company. The clarification came after media reports highlighted the court decision, that prompting the company to explain that the dispute stemmed from an old tax claim related to CEA payments previously made to SWE Southern Gas Company Limited.
And 2 Pakistani astronauts have been selected as candidates for China's manned space program in a major milestone for the country's space ambitions. According to reports, the 2 candidates, Mohammad Zishan Ali and Khurram Daud, will travel to China for training under a joint human spaceflight initiative. One of them is expected to eventually fly as a payload specialist, becoming the first foreign astronaut to visit China's space station.